Testing. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, non. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, non. Alrighty, let's get started. Okay, so I need to define different mechanical parts of this object. Seat behind. I don't need to super highlight the back wheel, but I should define where my seat is. Everything should be behind these two legs. Huh. My mirroring wasn't showing. That's really weird. It's fixed now, so. I actually want that to be a bit paler and more saturated. Do the square head here. Underneath, I need to go into the darker colors for the leather jacket. sharpest. But it doesn't need as much early definition as other things might. I'm going to define this in a lighter color, and I'm just gonna I can kind of tell where it is as I go. Big old stomach. Wear a pink shirt. We'll do the jewelry in at the end, but you know. Next up is I need the pants, which go underneath that, and that looks way better. The problem with drawing this character is because of his nature, everything's gonna kind of look similarly at a glance, color-wise, while I'm doing the blocking. Because he's really colorful, but most of the color is in the detail work. Little pinkish brown color, which is great because it has a lot of pins on it. One of my favorite character designs that I have, and I know you can't see much of what's going on with it yet, but I promise I'm cooking. I've had Peter as one of my characters for years and years and years. And usually I obviously enjoy drawing pretty women. I'm not gonna lie about that. Pretty women are fun to draw, but so are old men. And even though I have a lot of pretty women characters, Peter is probably the closest to what I would describe as how I would like to look. He's big old motorcycle Santa. Hair up above the cap layer because he has that poof that comes out. Isn't gonna intersect really. Okay, I promise you, this is gonna look better. A lot of the detail work is just in the actual details on his clothing and face. Because I wanted to, when I originally designed him, have a lot of fun jewelry, a lot of pins, a tie-dye t-shirt, and it's just harder to do that if you don't have plainer looking colors in the blocking, because a lot of it is in the details. But let's get started, Peter. I love you, Peter. Oh yeah, that's the hand. I'm gonna start off with his nose. And as per usual, we're just going in. We're doing a little bit of detail on each part of the body that we really need to define early on first. We're fleshing out our face shape while we're actually in the second stage of blocking. I know for a lot of people, the way I do this, going directly into blocks of color, feels counterproductive, but here's the thing. I'm thinking about doing my pieces from a position of composition first, and even if it might seem like I'm foregoing a sketch, I'm really not. I'm just, instead of using lines, I'm using blocks. Which, with that said, if you like sketching, there is nothing wrong with that, and that, in fact, is probably, in most cases, the proper way to go about things. Not just, for example, laying down blocks of color. I'm just thinking out the actual geometry of my pieces as I go along. This is a snack. It's fine, that can come last. I'm actually gonna cut the shirt a bit. Go ahead and we're just gonna define his moops. This sweet Peter has moops. He also has chest hair, but I am a huge fan of the moops on this man. And the chest hair has to go in last because it's a light blonde chest hair. It's not gonna show up as well. Go to our fist. Usually when I do art that has Peter in it, which Peter's, at this point, one of my older characters. I like him a lot. I listen to a lot of, like, era music when I usually do art of him. Somewhat actually becoming visible from the other side, so we should redefine that a bit. Fine. You don't have to be super detailed with this hand as we go along, because our primary light source is going to be coming out from right here. Oofta. Actually gonna just, whoop. Thank you, Justin! I really appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. Welcome on in. How are you doing today? What's up? I have the general sense of what this looks like now. Yay! Welcome on in! Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it. Trying to get more comfortable with being on voice chat. How was your day? How was school? I do not miss being in school. I am not jealous. I hope it was good, though. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Dude, that blows. Let's just fill in these so that I can do the eyes above and just have it be bags as I redefine it. I'll add more to this in a hot minute. I haven't decided what my light source is going to be. No. Thank you. No, you. No, you. You're underrated. I'm gonna go in with a somewhat lighter eyelash color than normal. Because this man has white, almost blonde hair. The undertones are gonna be blonde. It's gonna lean towards white. So as I shade it. Doesn't need super tons of detail on it, but should get in there enough in order to define the eyes. This is usually the layer where I do my brows as well. I don't often add in a ton of detail to the brows. Just because I do like how a bolder brow looks on a character. I know, right? Listen, he's gonna be fabulous. That's gonna be a rainbow tie-dye tank top. He's gonna have a peace sign necklace. He's definitely... This is definitely going to be a thing that we see as we go along through this piece. But this character very much so is Material Quarrel, but oldie. Gotta get those piercing baby blues in, because this is, in fact, the last cover I need for this week's upcoming Call of Cthulhu session, and it's probably the most important. No, the previous one from the last stream, that was definitely the most important of the fake comic covers for this week. But this one actually relates to one of the player characters' arcs, more so than being a direct warning of their future. No, legitimately, Slay. This man has husband. This is a man who is very much so not just bear material, but actual bear. Thank you! I love him so much! He is an NPC in the Call of Cthulhu campaign I'm running, who has backstory ties to one of our player characters, and this coming week, tomorrow, he is going to have the opportunity to be finally rescued by his longtime best friend. Not his husband, though. His husband is not the one who's going to be responsible for rescuing this man. I swear, I have depth in the sorts of figures I can draw. I just also happen to need the art of pretty ladies more, and also women are great. I love women. Women are amazing. And they're back on that nose because with the mustache, that's going to be the main thing you can see. Thank you for the subscribe! I appreciate it. I'll definitely remember you. I really appreciate. The good thing about digital art, but you can also do this. Good luck on homework. I hope you do well. I'm sure you're gonna knock it out of the park. Get the grades that are best for your mental health, whether that's an A or a C. A pass is a pass. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Feel free to pop on back in or to just leave the stream up if you'd like something to watch while you do your homework. I'll be here probably until this is done. I might try to crank out another piece afterwards, but I do have some more work that I need to get done before the end of the day as well. Bye! Oh. Yeah, I'm drawing. This is on mobile. I also have stuff on my PC, but for my personal drawings, I tend to try to use Ibis Paint. I typically only use a few brushes as well. Oh, you're underrated. Yeah, this is literally just Ibis Paint. Ibis Paint is a shockingly powerful drawing tool. A lot of the times I'll use Ibis Paint for my sketches, for bigger work pieces, and then I'll go in and touch them up later on in Clip Studio Paint and do my more in-depth rendering there. But for just stuff for me or for my game, not my game, but my Call of Cthulhu campaign, I'll actually actively just use my phone. So here's a hot tip that basically everyone has access to for free. I have a personal Discord server that I use to store my art. See ya! And you can just literally upload it to there if you need more storage on your phone. Yeah! Google Drive is also great. I've used Google Drive since I was in middle school. But it's just really convenient to actually have Discord access. Okay, time to go in and do those hands. We've got this. Go in and do the hands now so I don't have to worry about it later. Ooh. Okay, we've got this. We can do this. Really figure out how to simulcast this between YouTube and Twitch. That's by doing things on YouTube. I'm not doing them on Twitch. Don't know how to do that yet, so I'll figure it out later. Doesn't need to be super clean. It definitely helps. Maybe I'll do a stormy background. I know that I want the headlight coming out to be in front. I should check what that looks like in terms. Yeah, so this is really going to be primarily rim lights. Shoot. Whatever, we'll roll with the punches here. I mean, rim lights look great. So then that means we're going to have the yellow rim lights. We're going to have an ambient blue light coming down from on top. We're going to have the rainbow road underneath. Because I need that bit of foreshadowing. I've been going darker, we need to go lighter with his hair. is curly, so I'm primarily going to be defining the hair in chunks. Rather than as one massive piece with straight hair, which is the joy of curly hair. It means that I get to have all sorts of textural fun. It's also nice to have older characters from time to time. I know that for a lot of younger people who are just getting into role-playing and just getting into dungeon mastering, it's fun to have younger characters. Teen characters especially are really great. But there's gonna be a point in life where you get to the age your insanely accomplished characters are. You're gonna be like, huh, I didn't become a world-renowned scientist by 21. That was an unrealistic expectation. In fact, the closest thing I have in common with this character is that we're both caffeine addicts. So then you start pushing the age up. I think maybe because I got into tabletop RPGs through my dad in like the late 2000s, probably even earlier, maybe mid-2000s. I was really little. My dad had been into tabletop gaming way back in like the 80s, and so it's just something I grew up around. I got involved with forums online for role-playing, so I started shifting to older characters, primarily being the sorts of ones that I played maybe around 16 or 17 years old. And my favorite sort of archetype to play is the sweet old granny. I stupidly love the sweet old granny archetype of character. They're so much fun. Especially ones that are slightly nutty. Like, I have this one character, and she's just an old lady who's very much into her artificery. I play her as an artificer in Dungeons and Dragons, but in other systems she's just kooky old witchy lady. It's great, it's fun. Hi, Mirren! I'm sorry, please correct me if I pronounced your art wrong. So, I really listen to everything except for new country. I listen to old country. If I had to pick a favorite artist, really hard. For modern stuff, Lil Nas X is great. For older things, I like Johnny Cash, I like Beethoven, I like Mozart, I like Vivaldi, I like Frank Sinatra, I like a lot of city pop artists, really just anyone in city pop as a genre. I'm obviously, I like rock a lot, especially older California bands such as Black Flag, which, controversial statement, I know. I like Black Flag, fuck. But I'm not opposed to more poppy stuff, especially like pop alt rock. So, admittedly growing up I really liked Panic at the Disco. Video game music is also great. I really like the music from the Dragon Quest franchise in particular. Thank you so much for the like. I can talk about music all day. I'm not great at composition. I'm trying to learn how to compose in my free time, but I'm way too scared to show off anything I've done. But I could talk about music all day. I also like show tunes. Broadway is fun. Both older Broadway stuff and newer Broadway stuff. It shouldn't come as a shock that I was a theater kid, but I was only a theater kid in middle school. I didn't have the opportunity to be a theater kid in high school. Because I kind of went off the deep end and had to be isolated for a hot minute. to agoraphobia. Kids, make sure that you keep your agoraphobia in check. If I had to pick, that's like asking me to pick a favorite child. It's gonna change every single day. Fuck it, I really like Green Day. I'm unapologetically a Green Day shill. I love Green Day. Green Day is amazing. What about you? What about you, Marin? What is your favorite artist? Musical artist, I mean. Oh, but Go Ichinose is also great. That's the problem. Picking is hard. Music is great. Music is wonderful. This isn't me trying to be diplomatic with my answer, it's just... Billie Eilish is really great, especially her older stuff. Honestly amazing. Good taste. Oh, who's also great? Marina. Marina is wonderful. Family Jewel's wonderful album. And that's the problem. I like both coffee and Red Bull, but my favorite source of caffeine is Monster Mango Loco. And listen, caffeine is great. I have horrible, terrible caffeine addiction. A lot of the times, because where I live, it's really expensive to get energy drinks, unless you're on like a university campus. I will get the 4-pack of Aldi brand energy drinks because that's only $4 and they taste just like Red Bull. And those are really great. I also like the sugar-free one of those where I don't like things like the sugar-free Monster a lot. For coffee, I will drink coffee, but it's not my primary source of caffeine because I like the ritual of making the coffee more than I like drinking the coffee. I have a French press, and currently I'm back home helping take care of my aging stepdad, but when I lived on my own, every Sunday morning I would boot up Bob Ross stream on Twitch, I would make coffee in my French press, and I'd sit by the window and physically paint with my acrylics while watching the Bob Ross stream and drinking my coffee. And it was every Sunday, it was my favorite part of the week. And no matter what I had to do that week, I would at least set aside like an hour or two to just paint, watch Bob Ross, and drink coffee. And so it's like, I know that a lot of people, when they go out, that's their time to get a more extravagant coffee order. But when I go out to like a Dunkin', I'll just get an iced latte with heavy cream, no sugar. Because I'm more interested in making the elaborate coffees at home, on my own, just kind of tucked away, my own devices. Just checking each curl to go out, and I'm kind of keeping my strokes looser than I would on another part of the face. What about you? Do you like caffeine? Are you also horribly addicted? I'm keeping these strokes looser because it's hair. It's not perfect. It has things that stick out and jut around. I'm gonna have to go in and like... I am I have an oops all wonder. I am also horribly addicted to caffeine. I am a Scorpio sun, Cancer moon, Cancer rising, oops all water, and then the rest of my chart is like earth and water entirely. I don't think I have any fire signs in my chart. I think I have like a Virgo placement somewhere along the way. Maybe? Or things that aren't. So I am oops all water, and not only am I oops all water, but basically my entire family consists of water and earth signs. So you can tell what that dynamic should be saying it like it's the dynamic and not just generational trauma. But you can kind of assume what my family dynamics are like by the assumption. I can talk all day if I am allowed to. Mostly to myself, but, you know. Fuck, man. Listen, I like astrology. It's fun. I'm not sure how much in astrology I believe, but it is definitely cool. Yes I do. I also have autism. I was diagnosed with both as a child. I was early diagnosed for both ADHD and autism. I also have physical disabilities. Dude, I know, right? Kinda figure I don't talk much IRL, but when I do, you can't get me to shut up. It is very difficult. I am full of fun facts, and actually, they're usually only fun to me because I like morbid stuff. Morbid stuff is fun. And I know that's a symptom of the autism. I like to describe it as weaponized autism, but it's great for weeding out people who like you and people who don't, because I tend to be a polarizing figure in lives. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't text back to people usually, though. I am the sort of person to primarily communicate IRL and maybe with you online if I've known you for years and years and years. I am very much so good at listening for hours and hours on end, but you will. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. Turns out my stepfather had stripped. I hate texting so much, it's so bad. Texting is literally the worst. Especially group chats. I'm sorry. I want to pay attention. I want to talk to you. But can you please just give me a phone call with maybe like a 15-minute advance notice. I am very nervous about the group chat. It makes me anxiety. With that said, I am also the sort of person who will bring cookies over to your house in the middle of the night, unprompted. My IRL friends can, in fact, attest to the fact that I do that. There was this one time where, back when I was in university, my friends and I accidentally managed to basically take up an entire floor of our dorm hall because, you know, I live in the United States. I live in the northeastern United States in a kind of metropolitan area. Back when I was in university, we're all kind of a little bit fruity and a little bit vegetable, so we ended up accidentally taking up an entire dorm floor in the university housing, and I don't sleep well. Back during college, I was not great at working at a reasonable schedule. I would work just randomly in the middle of the night. And because of the type of housing I was in, I had a whole ass kitchen to myself, and I like to joke that most of my net worth is in cooking supplies, but it's not a joke. I had like a Dutch oven in there, I had a ton of parchment paper, sheets, I had good pans. It was a culinary nerd's dream in that dorm, and nightmare at the same time. I also had the most extensive spice cabinet out of any of my friends, but that's beyond the story. And I decided one time during like midterms, when I had maybe 4 papers due. Oh, I feel that. I had maybe 4 papers due over the course of a span of like 5 days. And I hadn't started on any of them, but I had like a rough, I called it paper Mad Libs that I use, where I just fill in the prompts and then add in the actual information for the essay in between it, and it would shit out an essay. It worked. And it's not like an outline, because it was literally just sentence structures that I had to fill things in. But during the time I was filling out my essay Mad Libs, I decided to bake. And because I had a Dutch oven and my own sourdough starter, I decided to make some rolls in the shape of little baby bears. And then I slowly but surely, as 4 a.m. went going around, went up to each and every single one of my friends' dorm rooms, knocked on the door, and held up the little baby bear rolls. It was cute. It was tasty. They were good. Great, actually. Great rolls. Oof. That is my form of communications. Is Google Meet still thing? Yeah, I have Google Hangouts, I think. I have a Google account. I'm not gonna say it live on stream, but I do not feel like doxing myself today. Yeah, sure, I'd love to talk to you there. Probably not right now, but definitely after stream. Oof. I've been considering maybe doing, like, my Call of Cthulhu campaign live. The production value for it is pretty weirdly high. In the past, I have been a professional dungeon master. That was pretty fun. I can't say I enjoyed it, but it definitely wasn't my worst job. Once a week, I've been dungeon mastering a campaign of Call of Cthulhu, which this character is an NPC in, and they're gonna get a chance to rescue him this coming week. I'm very excited for it because he's a backstory character for one of our players. I've been considering offering to my players that we could go live for it because I do have the infrastructure to stream it, and I know that a lot of the people who do play in my campaign are streamers in their own right or want to be in the near future, with the exclusion of my co-DM, who will literally just go along with whatever because, you know, he's a buddy, he's a friend. That is Matt. Matt is Matt. If I'm left to talk on my own devices, though, it will very quickly become morbid, so I definitely do need the rest of the cast to balance me out, or I need to be actively talking about horror stuff, which works for Call of Cthulhu. That's what that system is for. God, I love existential horror. It is so good. Add in less detail towards the end of the beard. So with each of these curls, I'm going to slowly fade out the amount of detail I'm adding in. Ooh. Slowly work on adding in bits and pieces of this. I'm going to do them on the undersides. And alpha lock it, bring down the opacity. Slowly but surely go in and add in shading. Now that we've got the details of what it looks like down. Raise the nose, we should get like that. Curve the beanie. So that was all texturing. The idea is to kind of show that he is graying. He is older. Oh, I forgot his glasses. Whatever, I can go in and add them in next. Oof. Here we go. And then there. So that's my excuse to make certain areas darker and lighter as well. Shading. Seems silly to do that much work just to fade it out like this, but you know. Do pop off. I do look good. Oof. Okay, yep. in this behind a little bit, just to give it the impression that there is more here and there. Because you got it kind of flowing in the wind, and it didn't look quite as full as I wanted it to. I always forget that Peter has these, like, freckly spots, because he's meant to mimic, in design, a red-cap mushroom. Oh, that's so much more textured already. I'm gonna change the size of this a little bit with my liquify pen. Not liking how big his eyes are here. Yeah, just that little bit of touch-up makes a world of difference. I'm also gonna go in and just move the face to reconfigure those newer shapes. And go in and actually do the proper color lighting later on, but for now, we can start on the clothing. Let's get that beanie down. Go and add in darkness underneath those. Primarily going to be rim lighting, but still need to actually define things like how it's knit and how the seams of it work. It's still cloth, even though it's cloth with weird lighting. This is also the place that's going to have the most of the ambient light when I go in to add that blue at the end. But I'm waiting for that because I'm going to want the coloration to all be consistent. So now I kind of need to just I have the impression that it is knit, and cable knit specifically. So I'm going to start defining that. And then this is one of the places where I think I'd have fooled the eyes with line art. Because the beanie is one of the less detail-focused places on the piece. I've already covered most of the detail for this piece. There's also going to be a lot of detail later on the motorcycle, but I can get away with having less on his hat. I can get away with having less on the leather jacket as I do it. And it'll look, the piece in the end will look better for it. We're already like 90% done with this. The things I can do to make it more stand out, though, is add in kind of almost reflections from the things around it. So I can go in and add in a bit of the hair color and a bit of the skin color to the beanie. I can even do a little bit of the eye color at the very bottom. Now I get to do my favorite part of the beanie! I get to add in the pins. So, to my memory, it was smiley face pin, then you have the heart, and then finally on this side, he has a purple peace sign. And the purple peace sign might have been with the others on the other side, but yeah, we're gonna move the purple peace sign over here. Just hide it somewhat. Alpha lock. Don't need to do much. In fact, I can even use the same darks for the heart and for the peace sign. I'll pull that hair color back in for the highlights on the heart. Ooh! Okay, yeah. Pop off. The dark color on the heart in order to kind of define our darks on the smiley face. And I'll pull back in the darker color in order to do go back under here, and we re-add in the darks underneath it so that they're not just floating in space. Hey Club! Nice to see you! How are ya? Thank you for popping in. I notice you a lot in the comments, so it's good to actually get to talk to you. How was your day going? Ooh. Hey, that's good to hear. Thank you for popping in. It's great to finally get to talk to you. Literally seeing your comments always brightens my day, so I'm happy to get to hear from you. Hey, you've been encouraging me. I appreciate it. Trying to get at least one piece done a day. This is the last one I need for Friday's session. So, this is gonna be a bit harder. Need to go in and add in my colors. Orange here and there. Blue. Finally some yellow. Gonna take the liquefy tool and we're gonna drag it around. Hey Aquatic, welcome in! Nice to meet you, nice to see you, how are you doing? That is hue. We're gonna start going in with the darks. Oop. Hey, I'd love to talk anytime. Honestly, I probably should either reactivate my old Discord server for Twitch or make one for YouTube. Because there are a lot of you who I've been seeing over the past few weeks who I'd love to talk to more. Aw, thank you. No, I appreciate it. I'm always, literally, it's, seeing your comments is one of the highlights of my day. I really appreciate it. I would love to talk more. I love Discord. Discord is so great. I shouldn't say Discord is so great. There are some frustrating things about Discord, but Discord is amazing for keeping in contact with people. Oh. This is for my Call of Cthulhu campaign. I'm making some more of the fake comic covers that I would like to have my players have access to. It's gonna have some nice Easter eggs that allude to things going forward in the campaign. I've been talking about streaming it with some of the others off and on since we started it, basically. I'm not sure if we eventually will, but we might. Either way, though, I like having the art pieces for it. We also, each week, make some really in-depth maps. It's because it's a weirdly good tool for map making for RPGs. You wouldn't think that The Sims would be good for making a combat map, but it is. It 100% is. This should actually be above face layer. We're gonna start doing his jewelry. Yeah, so I've been trying to do my own art for fun as well, because normally I just do art for work. I love drawing, but I was actively driving myself insane by just actually doing my work art. So now I'm trying to do that along with playing more video games that aren't just for research purposes, for work, for this Call of Cthulhu campaign I've been doing. And you know what? If it gets me motivated to post online, that's even better. So, Call of Cthulhu, I'm not sure if you're super into tabletop role-playing games, but Call of Cthulhu is a horror system which focuses primarily on investigators exploring the strange and unknown. It's very much so like the work of H.P. Lovecraft, and once per week I run a session in it. I've been doing these fake comic covers because the actual backdrop of the current campaign that I'm running is a modern city, and one of the plot devices I've been using to communicate information that the players aren't able to physically see, but has happened in the world between sessions, is comics from this comic book shop downtown. And it's a good way for me to draw in different styles, because normally I have to do very much so when I'm working very anime, very light novel, very visual novel styled stuff, and that is not where I am most comfortable art-wise. So it lets me draw in different styles by doing stuff for this campaign. It lets me work on things that are fun, and it gives me an excuse to play a game that isn't survival horror. Yeah. Hobbies. They are important for your mental health. Speeds. Them both. I want to draw the line along the peace sign as well. This character is one that's a backstory character for one of my players, and it's also one of my longer term NPCs. And this coming session, they're going to have the opportunity to rescue him. And technically, the cover from last night is the most important comic cover that they're going to get access to in this coming session. Because that is going to allow them to potentially save an NPC that everyone really loves in a future, like, next week session. So don't know that poor dear sweet Laramie is on the chopping block. But this one is the illusion for the current session. It should show them, in the end, how they can actually rescue this character, who is the best friend, long-term, of one of the player characters. They went to college together, they were both professors in the same department, and this character has been missing in-universe for 7 years. It's gonna be a grind to get him back if they want to, but this is one of the things that the campaign's been building up to. It's gonna be a fun week. I'm really excited for it. Yeah! Yeah, this is gonna sound so dorky. I kind of grew up playing tabletop games because my dad was super into it when I was really little. And that it's always been something that I've enjoyed and that my siblings have all enjoyed. My dad played a lot of, like, Dungeons and Dragons way back in the 80s, war games, so we just had it around the house growing up. And then I started playing it in, like, the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s era, primarily through online forums, but also in person, because it was just something we always had growing up. And it's definitely become an integral part of my life over the years. I know that Dungeons & Dragons is the most popular system out there, but Call of Cthulhu is my favorite by far. I like how it works more. It's a little bit easier to wrap my not very math-inclined noodle around. And because I do a lot of coding, a lot of computer stuff for a living, having an excuse to do something that I still like that's outside of what I normally do for work is always great. Plus, it gives me an excuse to put stuff up on YouTube that isn't related to the game, because I can't put up stuff related to the game until we're closer to release date. I'm driving myself nuts. It's like being in isolation with no social interaction outside of the other members of the team, and I can't keep doing that. I gotta do something that's not my video game. grab the flesh tone and plonk, plonk. We're gonna have to go in again. At the very end and actually do the darks. Dude, that's a mood! What was your favorite shooter growing up? I didn't play much shooters. I get super nauseous. Love arcade games. I get super nauseous playing shooters, but I always remember watching my siblings play Halo, so Halo has a soft spot in my heart. Doom 1 is great. Doom 1 is amazing. I love watching Doom videos to this day. Doom holds a special place in my heart. Call of Duty, weirdly, specifically the original, also holds a very special place in my heart. One of the usernames I went on by as a teen was literally the name of the tutorial character from the original COD. Fucking love Doom 2. Doom is amazing. Not really a shooter, but I also love Fallout 1. I'm not as big into the later Fallout games, mostly because I like old stuff. There's something special about looking at an older game and unpacking it. My favorite genre of video games is probably survival horror. My interests are really survival horror and then cozy games, and there's very little in between. I say, literally talking about shooters in the past that I have enjoyed. Joust is great. Joust is really good. I used to really love Pac-Man growing up. There was... At a restaurant I really liked as a kid, which I say as a kid, that wasn't super long ago, but it also wasn't super recent. There was an old Pac-Man machine and an old Wheel of Fortune machine from, like, I don't know how long ago. And after work, from time to time, we'd get pizza, and me and all my siblings would have like $5 to go around and play in the arcade, and I would spend the entire time between the Pac-Man machine and the Wheel of Fortune machine going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And that was always great. I didn't win many prizes from that arcade, but that was always a good time. And this wasn't like a Chuck E. Cheese or anything. It was a local pizzeria by where my dad lived after the divorce. And that was always good. It's always great. Game & Watch collection. It's also really not... I'm a sucker for video games. I've always liked video games. I'll never stop liking video games. My main limiter is I get super nauseous playing anything 3D, so I want to enjoy things like Helldivers so badly. I have Helldivers. I love everything. Dude, that's so fair. Feel free to nerd out about it. I am a survival horror girly. I fucking love survival horror games. I also like a lot of RPG Maker horror, especially older RPG Maker horror. Hi, Brantley. Nice to see you. Welcome on in. How are you doing? Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for popping on in. Okay, New Blood Interactive looks great. I can't play it, but it looks great. Thank you for popping in, Brantley. How are you doing today? My favorite game of all time is Don't Starve Together. It changes, and it's changed in the past over the years what my favorite game is, but for the past several years it's been Don't Starve Together. And I have a Mega Base world going. I know, right? I have a Mega Base world going on my Switch, and it's a relatively new one. It's only at 700 days. But I've been trying to slowly but surely get it together so that I can record a video of it. I don't really care if it does well or not. Who is Liliachi? That's okay. We're all goofy goobers here. I am definitely a goober of all time. I definitely fall into the goober category. You know what? I should add in some of the coloration from the tire onto the cat legs on the interior. That'll look really nice. Ooh, I will look him up after stream. Rap music is good. I enjoy rap. I know rap isn't meant for me, but it tends to be good. It tends to be enjoyable for my brain cells. Anything but modern country. I don't love modern country music. I had an ex-girlfriend who really loved modern country music, and it drove me up a wall. I was trying to be so polite. Oh no! Rest in peace. Dude, Blading Sorcery is amazing. Both of those are really, really good times. Honestly, great taste. Great choices overall. Oh, thank goodness, that's good. It's always great to hear that someone is alive. It's not always great to hear that someone is alive, but in this case, it's great to hear that someone is alive. I'll listen to him after stream. Hey, I'm always looking for new music recommendations. I tend to have pretty diverse taste in music, that being, I'm one of those everything but country people, but I mean it literally. It's everything from Miku to classical to, obviously I'm like Miku, I keep on posting videos with Miku sounds. Obviously I like Hatsume Miku, that goes without saying. Video game music to rap to R&B to pop. Pop is really fun. Alt-rock is probably my favorite genre if I had to pick a genre. But then whenever it's my turn to play alt-rock during the few nights that my friends and I play alt-rock, I just want to play city pop. So, you know what? It is what it is. Ooh. Okay, this is coming along. So I need to do the motorcycle, I need to do the background, and then I need to go back in to do the more complex rendering. And then we'll be done. We are coming to the end of this piece fast. Indie is great. Indie music is amazing. One of my friends, I don't think I should say her name out loud, but she makes amazing independent music. And, like, right after the pandemic, we were living pretty close by each other. So she used to ask me and our other friends to come visit her concerts, which were at a small music venue in downtown New Haven. And I'm not really a live music or a concert person, but it was great to hear up-and-coming artists just talking about and singing about their own work. It's always... Here's the thing about independent music, it's someone's passion project. Indie is a genre, along with like folk punk, that you can really hear someone's passion. I know that the rest of my family is way more so concert people than me. I wish I was a concert person. It's usually just a lot of bodies in one room really freaks me out. But I love hearing stuff like Sad Milk Hotel, which was great to hear before they blew up. I used to listen to Rachel Platten before she was a pop star because she lived in the area that I'm from and used to perform at small music venues, and the size of those concerts were small enough that I was able to go to them with my parents back in the day. And Rachel Platten had this one song that was just really amazing, and it's been stuck in my head for years, and there are only re-uploads of it left online. And there was a line in it. She keeps her Bible close and folds the pages that she needs the most. And for some reason, that line has stuck in my head for years. And I am not only not a religious person, but I am not Christian. I'm Jewish. I grew up in Judaism, but that line has stuck in my head since I was a child. Because it was so good, accompanied with this very techno soundtrack underneath it. And then Fight Song came out, and that song got deleted from everywhere. Which is not like a I liked Rachel Platten before she was cool kind of thing that I'm lamenting. It's a damn it, I love that song so much and now it's gone thing that I'm lamenting. It's also great when independent artists do blow up, because it means more people get to enjoy their work and they're no longer struggling. Hi, Justin! Welcome back! Dude, the Living Tombstone is amazing. I am slightly ashamed, but you know what? I had Discord as my ringtone for so many years. And I wasn't even into My Little Pony. I was always more of a Care Bear person. Care Bears were great. Actually, Brony music in general, as someone who is not a part of that fandom, is amazing. Justin, how was your homework? Did you get it done? Did you do it well? This is a bit of an update on the piece so far. We are getting close to the done stage. We're almost done with the rough rendering, and then I can go back in with my actual proper filters. Dude, Care Bear Countdown. I have a Grumpy Bear plush, and I love my Grumpy Bear plush so much. No! No, not the Care Bear! Not the Care Bear stare getting eaten by the doggo. Oh no. Hey. We can say my dogs are enough for all of us. They're not. Dogs are great. If you have the opportunity to get a dog, you should, and you can properly take care of the dog. Big caveat there of you can properly take care of your dog. You should get a dog. They're amazing. I got the Grumpy Bear plush last year while I was on vacation with my family, because every year my mom, my stepdad, and I go up to Maine and we do a very small, like, week-long vacation for all of us, and we just do some wine tastings and stuff. It's great. But we went into this creepy gift shop that had, like, a fake mummy in it. It was weird. We didn't know about the mummy when we went in. I mostly wanted to go in because it was called the Nut House. And you gotta admit, if somewhere's called the Nut House, and there's a giant statue of a squirrel holding a peanut up to its mouth, you gotta just roll with the punches. You gotta go in the Nut House. It's free advertising. It's free real estate. I wasn't gonna say no to going in the Nut House, but they had Care Bears there, and I always liked Grumpy Bear. He was cynical, but he also was the one that obviously really cared and keep the other bears in line. He was the maturity to help it out. I've had this discussion with my friends so many times over the stupid Care Bears. are lovely, and I love Grumpy Bear. Grumpy Bear is adorable. Grumpy Bear is the mature one in the room, and as someone who was, as a child, very much so a 30-year-old stuck inside of a small body. Thank you, English Biscuit! I appreciate it! Here is a zoom out of it. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I will stop talking about the Care Bears for a second. I'm sorry for talking so much about the... I don't even know how I ended up on Care Bears. Or on Perry's Nut House. What the fuck? Why was I on Perry's Nut House again? Well, I'm always on Perry's Nut House. That is a store of all time. Oh, bronies. Brony music is great. Brony music is amazing. As someone who's not a brony, brony music is wonderful. Also, FNAF music is wonderful. Those stupid FNAF fan songs are always amazing, and I'm so impressed by how talented the creators who make it are. Actually, video game fan songs in general are good. Like, I'm sure there are some stinkers out there, but they get stuck in my head. It's like audible fan art. It's great. It's wonderful. You guys are nicer than Twitch chat, which is saying something. Twitch chat is mean in a way that I like. You guys are nice, and I appreciate you being nice. Thank you for being nice and not bully. Biscuit, how are you doing today? Also, are you a digestive? Are you a shortbread? What sort of a biscuit are you? I personally am partial to the Walker's shortbread. I usually take my tea with Walker's shortbread, but I also usually have, like, a chamomile instead of a Yorkshire tea. If I'm having a Yorkshire tea, I'd rather have coffee. But I will have a Walker's shortbread with it. So what sort of a biscuit are you? English biscuits. Delicious. Oh, okay. I know at least one other people in here, at least one other person, probably drinks tea at this point. How do you all take your tea? I usually... Ooh, sourdough is great. I love sourdough. Sourdough is so good. Okay, we need to do this center, and then yep, perfect. Then we need to decrease the line size. I'm actually gonna make this another layer because I'll erase parts of it. Just need to get one good go at... Yep, that works. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now it's time to get into the final stretch of this. First off, we need our background. I already know that it's going to be a darker background because we have the high beams on. I'm going to do primarily stormy gray colors. It doesn't need to be super, super intense, but I am going to kind of streak underneath by the sidewalk. Street with you lampposts in the background. I think we need to do a few colors for this. I want to be this kind of dark. Ooh. Yep, let's add in some kind of fake brickwork here. Not gonna be super intense, but it can be cute. I'll add in some more of these telephone wires. Darker color. Then I need to go all the way up into my more saturated colors for this bit underneath. Because the main clue is going to be this rainbow road. See ya, globe! I'm actually almost done with this, so I'm probably going to be off relatively soon, but thank you so much for dropping in. I'll probably be back on tomorrow before my Call of Cthulhu session at some point, and I'll try to, at some point in the very near future, get the Discord live so that we can actually talk there. Because you're great, and I want to talk to you more, and you're awesome, and you literally keep on making my day, and I really appreciate that. Ooh, okay. Home stretch, baby. Maybe I'll start a second piece. I don't have much going on. Bye! Bye! Good to have you here. Great to have you here, actually. Thank you so much for everyone who's popped in so far. We have a bit more to go on this, but we really are in the actual home stretch of this piece. Build any of my different light sources. I always like to have purple and blue tones underneath my pieces because I think they look so pretty. I also like having a lot of pinks in. I know that it's very much so generic girl thing, but I think it looks good. It's yassified, it's a moment, it's a cohesive element in most of my pieces. I also just like those colors in general. This has all also been done with one brush, which I know is a little bit of a weird thing to think about if you're not the sort of person who's used to using one brush for art, but especially if you're just getting into painting, if you're just starting to go down this trek, it is worth it to try to do a piece or two with just a few brushes in order to try to get used to them. Because each brush behaves so differently, and reasonably, you should be able to make a piece with just brush. Very, very comfortably, actually. Because no matter what sort of brush you're using, you're effectively, your light, your shadow, your definition, it all always is going to have the same rules applying to it. Sure, depending on how the lighting is, it's going to hit it differently, but you're always going to have these same fundamentals to keep referencing, to keep looking at. So if you can do a piece with one brush and get used to that brush, you can go and incorporate multiple brushes, or you can just be like me and use flat brush over and over again that you love. Because I love my stupid flat brushes. I think they look really great. I feel like it allows me a lot of control over the textures in my pieces, and the fact that something can be hair and can be clouds and can be metal all at once. It's just really cool to me. That's a thing in my brain I kind of love. Ooh. Yeah, no, I really love that. We're really just going in here and defining our darks and our lights at this point. Hi, Oscar! Welcome on in! How are you doing? Thank you for popping inside. Hope you're feeling well today. How was your day? Do you like coffee? I like coffee. I fucking love coffee, man. Coffee is great. People are wonderful. I love people. I do not actually love people. I am severely agoraphobic. Do not put me in public. I do not like being in public. What is everyone's favorite way to take their coffee/tea? For coffee, I really like French pressed coffee. It's fun to just kind of sit around, watch the stream. Hey, that is totally chill. Sorry, I do not know what language you speak. If you want to speak Spanish, I don't speak Spanish, but I can sort of understand a little bit, enough to be able to respond to you in English a lot of the time. If you speak Japanese, watashi wa nihongo ga wakarimasu yo. I also speak Latin, but I'm assuming I'm probably the only one here who speaks Latin, and also Latin is a dead language. It's been useful in my life. The Latin's been useful in my life. Honestly, good on you for learning another language at all. It's a really hard journey, and if you ever need someone to just talk to and practice things and not be a jerk about it, I am happy and here. Because I think language learning is the coolest shit ever. And I have definitely hyper fixated on languages before. Time for color dodge! Everyone get into your color dodge era! I should actually be going with orange-ish highlights here. $5% maybe? Ooh. Okay, work it. On Monday, we had like a one-shot in the campaign that I'm in. And for some reason afterwards, Country Roads by John Denver came up as a topic of conversation. I think we were playing Pokerogue all together just afterwards, just vibing. And I switched from English into Japanese. They were like, why do you know the lyrics to Country Roads in Japanese, and why is that your default? And it's because Country Roads was the focal point of the Studio Ghibli movie Whispers of the Heart. And that has stuck in my head ever since, because in high school for a Japanese class, I had to translate that movie, because it was just me in the class. And that was what we did on movie days. Was it a worksheet? No, I was left translating. It worked. It did its job. I definitely learned Japanese. It was a move, and it worked. Good on Shiba Sensei for doing that. It got me moving. Honestly effective. It was Whispers of the Heart by Studio Ghibli. I don't remember if it's good or not. All I remember is Country Roads. All I remember is Country Roads was a focal plot point in it, and the kids were trying to translate it from English into Japanese in the movie. I also actually played Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire for that class and translated them from Japanese into English, despite playing on English copies, just switching the language over into Japanese. Which, if you're learning another language, just a reminder that all the Pokemon games post-Gen 6 let you choose your language in the start screen, so it's a good way to immerse yourself. I also watched Love Doraemon for that class, but Doraemon is good. Doraemon is excellent. Doppeldimmel. I was gonna see how long I could go without admitting I speak Japanese, but no, we're doing it right now. We're talking about Japanese. Oh, but the stupid Japanese obsession to attend in high school, I took literally every publicly available course at the college level in my state in Japanese, and the only reason why I didn't get a minor in the subject for college was because my university stopped offering the minor the year I graduated. Which, to be fair, if they hadn't tweaked their degree requirements that year, I also would have been a double major in both history and political science rather than political science major, history minor. Or history minor? I had a lot of credits. It was a little bit of a hot mess in college. But not in like a standard way, in a I'm bored, so I'm gonna take another class this semester way. Which is not a healthy way of dealing with a sense of emptiness in your life. Do not just register for another college class because you think it'll add meaning to your existence. It won't. Another college class will not make your life better. Thank you, PB and Genius. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate it. Beep. Everyone's been so nice. We're going a little bit ham on this little last bit of it. A little pog crazy. I'm doing good. Thank you. What have you been up to? What have you been doing? Ooh. I'm trying to be active in the chat and also do this little bit of a harder bit of shading, which is fine. I know that realistically I should be, instead of doing line work here, actually shading it in, but the line work looks so pretty when you do these sorts of pieces. I know it's not conventional, I know it's not realistic, I know it doesn't belong to most cartoony or painterly styles, but I love having line work in my paintings just as a thing. I think it tends to look really pretty. And for very, very little additional effort, a few stylistic choices, you get a lot of character. Oh, I feel that. No! Do not dox yourself! Sorry, that was my friend calling about the games. Guess that's my sign that I should almost be done with Peter. Peter! Hey, listen, middle school is a hard-ass time. Keep your head up. You can get through this. I fully believe in you. Just remember that it actually is hard. It's not just you, but it's not going to be that hard forever. It'll be hard in different ways, but it's not going to be as hard as it is. So it got restricted, but I do actually have a tutorial that I can re-upload. It got restricted because it was the first one that I did as a test, and I decided to put background music in, and then I uploaded it from the computer, and YouTube Shorts is weird. But I actually do have a tutorial on my phone about how to do hands. You can check it. Hi, Matt! Welcome on in! Nice to see you. Please don't dox yourself on stream. I forgot to silence my phone. You can kind of see how to do it. It's really all just shape language, and then you're defining how it looks. Poor Matt last night had to bear witness to me. Poor Matt had to bear witness to me flip a thumb and not realize into a hour into a lined piece, which is the most embarrassing stuff for someone who prides themselves on being able to do hands consistently well. Yeah, the thumb is not flipped here. There are some weirdness about the thumb. The answer is, it's just... I'm gonna do it up in the... I'm not gonna do it on this canvas, because this is gonna be a speed paint that I upload. See ya! I am almost done with this piece, so I will probably be signing up. The answer is, a hand is just a trapezoid, and then cylinders connected by balls. And each one of these lines can get defined more, so you have joints at each part of the finger. But the shape language is always consistent for your fingers and your hands, and you're really just working on defining out from there what it is. And you can think about it in 3D space as well, this way, which makes posing a lot easier. Effectively, it's just a trapezoidal cylinder, and then you almost attach it with the wrist to the rest of the arm like a ball. I like to define it as almost a diamond-like shape instead of being more round, because I feel like that lets That lets things jut out. Then your knuckles are right at the end of each of these. And on the interior, I'm gonna flip it around and just shrink it so I can do an interior as well. The interior of the hand, the lines of the hand are connected to the thumb and then your first finger. I'm doing this very, very quickly, but this is literally just how you draw hands. It's always this shape language, and it works with different styles as well. Thank you. That is a very good question. So usually when I'm gonna plop down a gray blob so that I don't have to do this on white coloration. Usually when I'm doing hands, when I'm doing this blocking method, I'm just going in. We're gonna use blue for this. I like a periwinkle. That's not the pose I want to do. I'm gonna do a peace sign. I'm thinking about where my fingers go. I have my thumb. I'm just going in and I'm drawing them out. It's the same shape language. No issue. If there's anything else I can really help with, I'm trying to at least make some tutorials. Because I know that I have exactly one brain cell when it comes to stuff. And things like this really help. Really, the answer for most things in art is you can break it down into shapes, then go from there. It's the same reason why I ended up with this piece instead of doing a lined sketch, just kind of shading it out and doing blocks of color. It's because I knew what my composition was ultimately going to look like in the end to a degree, and rather than sketching with lines, it was going to be easier for me to follow with blocks of color. It's still shapes. It's just shapes and blocks. Everything in art is just a shape. It's all shapes all the way down. You're never gonna not have shapes. Oh. Really need to figure out how to do a simulcast from Twitch. Oh, so, Cool Dude, primarily, I know it doesn't look like it because of my style, but my day job is I'm a horror visual novelist. I make horror games. I love drawing creepy stuff. Primarily, I really like drawing pretty things and then mutilating them in horrible... I do a lot of body horror. I don't upload a lot of body horror because not everyone needs to see the body horror until it's all put together. But I do a lot of body horror. I'm a horror nerd. I am a huge fan of horror. If you also like horror artists, there are a lot of really great horror artists out on YouTube. This piece is actually for my Call of Cthulhu campaign that I'm running in my free time. My first game is coming out soon. It's going to be called Maelstrom. The answer why it's taking so long compared to what I thought it would is because we ended up moving from Ren'Py to Unity, and then as we were wrapping things up in Unity, the entire thing that happened last year went down. So now we've been moving over into Godot, and that has been depressing. It's been very depressing to have to move engines twice in one project. But hopefully that's almost done. I am coming up on the end of that. I'm really excited to get it out. I started working on Maelstrom in my senior year of college just as a way to try to... Dude, you are so fine. Thank you! No, I'm a huge horror nerd. I started working on Maelstrom in my senior year of college because I did a lot of gallery work at the time. Growing up, not always, but I really wanted to work in museums. I really wanted to do, like, fine arts stuff, but from an administrative end, and I had been working in a museum at the time, and I wanted to find a kind of cooler multimedia way to present parts of my portfolio. And throughout college, the way I really financed my degree was I would enter into art competitions for scholarship stuff, and I did a lot of work relating to my physical disability, which I have arthritis, early onset arthritis, and so a lot of that work ended up revolving around the corruption of the human form, a loss of innocence. And then growing up, I also really loved horror games, so I was like, I'll make a visual novel. And then the project got entirely out of control and to a scope that was huge. And I've been working on it ever since. And it's almost done. I've had to move engines twice now, as I've said. But I'm in the home stretch. I'm really excited. I do also like pretty things. Pretty things are nice. But that contrast between beauty and really horrible body horror is something that I've always, to a degree, been interested, but with the onset of my arthritis, it became the primary focus of my work. Thank you! I appreciate it, cool dude. Thank you for subscribing. It's great to have you in. It's great to have another horror fan in here. I obviously also really love to play games, particularly horror games, and if you have any recommendations for horror games, particularly, like, independent horror games to play, I always, in my free time, enjoy playing horror stuff. My taste in games tend to be, like, cozy games, 4Xs, and a lot of independent horror. And there's very little middle ground. Ah, you missed it. We were actually talking about Halo earlier, though. Okay, so now we need to go in, and we're gonna start to overlay on the background as well. It's not gonna be as much deep. I have heard of Signalis. I have heard of Signalis. I need to think. Recently, I replayed Mad Father, because I hadn't played that since I was a kid, and everyone, for some reason, I'd been hearing a lot of talk about Mad Father again, so I went and replayed Mad Father recently. That was nostalgic. That was good. I obviously earlier mentioned that I really love Don't Starve. I play a lot of Don't Starve in my free time. And a lot of Don't Starve Together. Primarily Don't Starve Together. Fear and Hunger, Broke. I'm a sucker for things like Ao Oni as well. Ao Oni is nostalgic as can be. Let's fade out his background a bit. Time to go in with the color dodge again. We are once again at that time. I can't really play 3D games as much as I'd like because I get super motion sick. But I'd like to try to get into Helldivers at some point. I can't play it on my computer either. My computer is not great. This is an HP Pavilion laptop. Love the HP Pavilion. God bless the HP Pavilion. Yeah, add in a little bit. It's the lightness of it. You know what? There is one more thing I can do which works for this piece. I'm gonna go ahead and take this very dark color though and just whoosh all along the inside. Okay, there. And whoosh, 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 whoosh. Way down, yep. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move to an animation. Bring in the piece as our first frame. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do stuff I like to do. I've been given permission to draw horror on stream. We're gonna go all. The joy of being able to just go ahead and totally. This is the sort of thing I like to do in my more serious art. I like to go in. I like to take a prettier piece, and I like make it weird. I am very much so an existential horror fan. Oh. Yep, I'm having fun now. Thank you for bringing this up, because it means I can be unhinged on me. Go harder. We can go harder. We can go balls to the walls. There are children in here, I shouldn't curse. We can go Perry's nut house to the walls. Oh yeah, this is actually one of my longtime characters. His name is Peter. He is an NPC, though, in the Call of Cthulhu campaign I'm running. He is a Vietnam veteran who owns a weed shop, because of course he does, is a part of a druidic order, and has been missing for the past 7 years, and my players are finally going to get to rescue him. One of the player characters in this campaign is his longtime friend, and so the intention this week is to give that plot point a bit of progression, and potentially, if the players would so choose, a resolution. He definitely is a little girly pop, is the other thing about him. I love him. I know I draw a lot of pretty women. It's a legitimate criticism of my work. But Peter probably has one of my favorite designs of all of my characters. I I love this man. He's great. He's wonderful. He has a husband. He has a job. He has trauma. He's great. I love him so much. And he's finally gonna get some sort of peace. We just go ahead and we add in patches of skin where the clothing's ripped. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Almost done, almost done. I'm so excited to be done with this piece. This is the last one I need for this session. Thigh eyes. I'm not squeaked out by body horror, but I love body horror. But I know I can't draw body horror unless it comes up as a topic. Or at least I can't publicly draw body horror unless it comes up, because people, for very good reason, are squeaked out by body horror. Most of the characters I do draw on a day-to-day basis and upload video of do have full backstories. It isn't just messing around with designs. There are exceptions. That new robot character that I've been working with, I think I'm going to rebrand all my stuff to go off of the current Jabberwocky art. That character doesn't have a backstory yet. But usually if I'm drawing, it's someone that exists in the things I've either made or am working on. Very, very easy to just go in and add this stuff afterwards if you're doing body horror, though. Especially because you are corrupting something, you are twisting something that's already... You guys touched on my special interest, sorry. Now you have to deal with it. like a Little Mermaid. You want to cross the bridge first, you gotta pay the toll. Like, I wasn't the one who brought up horrifying things. Now I'm drawing literal body horror. Let's set this to second. That should be second. Oh. Okay, horror. Body horror is great! It's wonderful! I obviously love it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, though. And it's not always my cup of tea, not because it's not fun to draw or fun to look at, but because, you know, some days you just want something cozy. Today is not that day. Today we are choosing violence. Okay, let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. Okay, we're dealing with this. This looks really good. Just gonna let this play for a hot minute. Yeah. Should I do another piece? I don't know. I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are too. It's great to have people in here. Let me know if you'd like to see something else as well, or if this is more so your jam, more so your vibe. Can I make a poll? Is there a way? Oh, there is a way to make a poll. Sure. Here's the thing, I'll revamp the Discord slightly, and I'll upload the stuff that I've been putting on my YouTube channel onto there as well. I just have it on my personal one right now that I use for file storage. So you can totally check him out. I'll also upload the full speed paint of this, or well, the 10-second version of the speed paint of this later, with the animation as well in time. Which it isn't really an animation, it's just a fade in of the fun stuff. It's also both the same thing. One of the images is just zoomed in so that you can kind of see the full thing, the full screen I'm seeing, plus the actual individual bit I'm focusing on it at a given time. Whew. Oh, that is the sound of Obi-Wan parading around. I'm gonna take a moment, I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna refill my water bottle, and after that I guess I'll start another piece. See you soon. Hello, hello, we are back. Ugh. Now we actually need to figure out what we're gonna draw, because I only had the one thing that I really needed to get done. I don't want to work on my work while I'm live, because that's a horrible idea, plus that should go on Twitch anyways. So, time to figure it out. I guess I could draw one of my older original characters, but the question is which one. Cannibal robot is also great. I like that. I definitely can do that. Oh, we're gonna make it cute though. You know what? So this can be cute. I feel like there's tragedy in the shame of it. That's also something I can crank out really quickly. I have the torso like that. Actually, you know what? I don't want to go with cute for this. I had a better idea for how to do this. It's gonna be more humanoid, but... yeah, face that head upwards. I'm gonna make the face relatively angular. Make this darker metal. I do! I work in both acrylic, I used to work in resin, and I do a lot of soft sculpture stuff. I also cross-stitch, and I've cross-stitched ever since I was a little. At some point in the near future, I'm planning on learning how to crochet. I have the materials I need. I just need to actually find the time in order to start crocheting. I actually sculpt and plaster a lot, too. Not as much as I used to, but plaster used to be one of my primary mediums. I almost want it to dangle like a lure above the head. And then I want a pinching motion for this, like grapes. No, don't dox yourself! Ooh. Actually, a lot of what I do for my digital paintings came from working in acrylic specifically. I need my loved ones to stop actively doxing themselves. So the reason why you see me using an additive process specifically and working with layers in the way I do is because that's something I picked up doing from physically painting. Don't need the form to be super comparatively clear here. I'm assuming that's the sound of dinner being ready. Which means it's not my turn to cook tonight. That's good news. But that also means that motherfucker's walking around on her broken hip. which she shouldn't be doing. I think I'm gonna lean a little bit more steampunk for this. Kind of have like a Marie Antoinette inspired vibe to the character. Ooh. Means big hair. I can kind of do it as like I do this as like a nest. And I know what I want for this. But I want it to also resemble a human body part so that these lips are always going to look weird in silhouette, and I can tune up that nose a bit. Welcome back, Chloe! We just finished the previous piece, and we're starting on another one. Ooh. How was your time away? You know what, we're gonna have fan here. I have to play with this a bit. Oops, that is the eraser, not this. Yes! Okay, what do you have? You gotta spill the details. Ooh. Ooh, okay. I will have to play it. Thank you. Yeah, and I am always looking for recommendations. That should be a hinge. Upper lip should also be defined as connecting like that. I almost want it to have a bear trap-like appearance. We're just gonna define these spikes. This is all really gonna be one color. This isn't super nice, honestly. Okay, so I'm a bit of a food snob, and even I've gotta say the hamburger helper is good. Obi-Wan Kenobi, no! Buddy, make good choices. Oh, so here's what we can do. Have that snaking tongue out as well. like that composition. Oh. Oh no! Not Michael Jackson! Not the kids! I'll have to check that out too, thank you. Yeah, I always like, well, really any independent game project. Oh, hiccups, thank you. Ooh. Not the kids! Listen! That's the first thing that comes to mind when I hear about MJ now. I wish it wasn't. His music's great, but can't forget about that. Admittedly, I love doing more mechanical pieces. It's fun to do them. That said, I grew up on mech anime, so... Yummy, yummy Gundam. Yep. Ooh. Okay. That sounds really good. Listen, I'm sorry, when I hear about MJ, all I can think about is the Neverland Ranch. Let's add in some corsetry, because I fucking love corsetry. Yummy, yummy corsetry. don't want this to be super detailed because this is really going to be quick, but you know what? We're going to make it quick. We're going to make it fun. I'm going to really lean into the more stylistic elements of this. Oh, that's pretty sweet! Dude, that sort of thing is always great. When just a few people get together, especially like a couple. It's always sweet to see married couples make games together. Because, like, they both tend to bring a lot to the project. I also like it when, like, siblings make games together. It really ends up showing how much of a passion project it is. Aww. That sort of thing is also always sweet. AAA games can be fun, but it's hard to justify buying something from a massive studio when itch.io has so many just amazing games on there at a low cost. Aww! Okay, that's great though. That sort of thing is also always fun. You're gonna learn about someone's niche interest with an indie game. Okay, but it's hard to justify buying a massive title when there's just an entire world of amazing games out there on sites like itch.io by small developers. That's the joy of it. I love indie game development. Indie game development is so cool. Okay, we're already starting to get to where we'd like to be with this. It's not gonna be super fleshed out, but we are gonna have a fun time. We're gonna play with darker look at this. That hand is huge. That hand can shrink. And move it up a bit into the back. And we're gonna go in and redefine that. Hollow Knight. Welcome, Jaden! Welcome on in. Thank you for popping in. How are you? Hollow Knight is amazing. Listen, I am not usually a platformer fan, but I liked Castlevania as, like, a kid. And there was a period of a few years where I really just stopped gaming. And then one winter I got super, super sick, and there was a period of time where I had to, like, be in bed for a really long period of time. And during that period, I played a lot of Hollow Knight. And honestly, that along with Stardew Valley were the highlights of that very bad period of my life. Dude, that sounds amazing. That sounds so good. Oh. Okay. Work? Absolutely work. I should probably put, like, a content warning on this to indicate that it is, in fact, horror that I am drawing at this. Not horror, but just something slightly eerie that I'm drawing now. Okay, let's polish up this rust bucket. I can probably crank this out in less than an hour if I'm efficient at it. Possibly less because there's only a few colors. Ooh. Oh shoot! I'll have to pick it up. Metroidvanias are good. I am typically not the target audience, but I can admit it is a great genre. It's not an admission. That's common knowledge that Metroidvanias are great. Smooth this out in the center. And in for some steam vents. Isn't quite as clean of a line as I'd like, but you know what? It works. Now we need to get that shoulder defined. You know what? I want to contribute to the air of opulence. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 2, 3, 4, 5. These are gonna look like holes for a second, but in actuality, I'm just doing the backing on something. Cryptophobia warning for just like a second. I'm gonna do gold highlights, so you know what? Some purple would look good. Let's do some amethysts. They're just purple gems inlaid in this. You know it looks good that I really want to get into, but I know that I'm not going to actually enjoy it because I don't like the genre. Well, not genre, but format. V-Rising. V-Rising looks great, and it's on sale right now, and I probably shouldn't get it because it's a MOBA, and it's not a MOBA, it's an MMO, and I always want to get into an MMO, and then I never end up liking stupid MMOs. And I was like, great, I just spent $40 on Temtem, and I am not having a good time. This isn't a bad game, I just don't like MOBAs. I really want to get into V-Rising. But V-Rising is a MOBA. Not MOBA. MMO. Wow, my brain is really on Pokemon Unite still. I am horribly addicted to Pokemon Unite. I've not been playing it for like 2 days. I need to quit, but I can't quit because I keep on going back to it. Hi, Justin! Welcome back! How's homework going? How is your homework? The idea of building a vampire castle, though? Dude. Mood. Oh, you play Pokemon Unite? Oh no. Go do your homework. Come on. You're gonna feel better after your homework is done. If you want, you can keep the stream loaded up in the background. Well, I'm sure that YouTube chat will even be happy to help you with the homework. If you need help, we won't do it for you, but we will help you if you have questions. We are all very smart. Yes, yes. Oh, that's just algebra. So you're solving for 2 variables. I am not very good at algebra, but you're just trying to solve for the 2 variables. There's got to be something on the other side of the equation that it's equal to. Otherwise, you're just trying to figure out what the 4a minus 89, you're just trying to figure out what a is. So you're going to want to get everything to the other side of the equation, which means first you've got the positive 89 on the other side, and then you need to divide that by 4. So what's 89 divided by 4? And that's how you get your a. Okay, yeah, those gems popped off. Ooh. Don't trust me, I have dyscalculia. I can't do that. Full Dude's probably your better bet. Literally the closest I came to failing a class was in math, so... The sooner you do your math, the sooner you get to stop thinking about the math. That's the good news about math. There's one solution. I do actually think I solved that right, though. Listen, I got A's and B's in basically everything from, like, high school through college, except for math. I was never good at math. I like math. Math is fun. Math is cool. Okay, I'm way more into this design than I thought I'd be. I forgot that I actually do have a cannibal robot character. It's just not this. I forgot that was a thing. Okay, listen. I have a genuine disability. I just have dyscalculia. Math is fun, though. Math is hard, but math is cool. Cannibal robot. We are drawing a cannibal robot. It's gonna eat a little robo-eye. Like in Terraria. I should replay Terraria at some point. Terraria is really good. I need to stop adding games to my wish list. Or to my replay list. But I have stuff in my library that I haven't finished yet. A cannibal robot. With kind of like Rococo elements to it too. Yeah, we moved from the last piece to this one. It's still gonna be pretty. I like pretty things, so it's gonna be pretty. But cannibal robot. I was requested to draw a cannibal robot. I liked the idea. I didn't have anything else I really needed to draw, but I wanted to stay online. It's only at this point that I remembered I do have an actual cannibal robot in my Call of Cthulhu setting. Just didn't think about it because it's not a malicious thing, it's just a way of processing data. Yeah, so in the Call of Cthulhu setting, one of the types of robots that exist, which it's not a sci-fi setting, but there are sci-fi elements. I made it so that they have disposable bodies that are kind of made of a silicone-like, resin-like disposable material that can be consumed by a larger database and then have the information that they gained added into there before they're ported into a different form. I straight up said, I do horror stuff. I like horror. I don't just make pretty things. I make pretty things. Gotta walk your fish. Enjoy your fish. Ooh. Here's the thing. The design of the yummy yummy robot that eats other yummy yummy robots in my setting is based off of a sea angel, and it was originally Matt's character, but it got a redesign recently from me. I should have just drawn Iris. I needed new Iris art anyway. And this is why I don't draw a body horror on stream. I do love body horror, though. Body horror is amazing. Ooh. Okay, work it. Ooh. Alright. Yeah. We're doing pretty good. Here we go. Oh, that's not a tooth. That is part of the tongue. Ooh, it's going good. I should be able to get this done soon. This is for a last second request. I can show off the previous one briefly. This is what the last one ended up. Ooh, yay! Dude, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is so good. This is what the previous one ended up looking like. Welcome back, Brantley! Welcome on in. This is a good time, actually, that I am showing off the previous bit. How was your shower? That sounds really appealing right now. Oh my god, I'm feeling pretty sweaty. After this, I'm definitely gonna take a shower. Yay! I'm glad. That's good. That's very good. Oh no! What happened? I'm sorry. Oh no! Don't eat shit and die. Dude, there was this one time where I got so mad at my stepsister as like a tween. Which, we were tweens. Of course we were gonna be mad at each other. That I went into the shower, and while I was showering, I kicked the faucet in anger and like tore off my entire nail. It was bad, and I have not kicked a faucet since. I have not kicked the faucet since. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Don't ever do that if you can avoid it. I was too ashamed to say I was mad at my sister, so I just said I slipped and fell. No one believed me, but that was besides the point. I don't even remember what the argument was about. That's how dumb it was. Be nice to your siblings. You're not gonna remember the argument that was so bad that you kicked the shower faucet and tore off your nail, but you are gonna remember tearing off the nail. Ooh. Oh my gosh, the drain is never doing its job well. I remember... Actually, I'm not going to talk about that, because that, well, not my fault, was disgusting. Ugh. Okay. Pop off. I want to highlight that eye. Add in a bit of purple to the hair and to the rest of the body first. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make the pupil of the eye a different color. Ooh, favorite single-player game? Honestly, I primarily play multiplayer games. I usually play multiplayer games, but I play them alone, like an insane person. Fear and Hunger is really good. You could play Fear... You like horror. Yeah, if you like horror and you can stomach it, play Fear and Hunger. Fear and Hunger is amazing. If you're looking for something that's not on Steam, but's just a classic, I'm really partial to Ao Oni. If you're looking for something that isn't horror, but is good... Isn't horror, but is good. I am admittedly a sucker for the Kairosoft games. I think that things like Chinese Ski Resort are a great time waster, and I have fallen into depressive rabbit holes where I've just played them for days and days and days before. But I also know that management simulators are not everyone's cup of tea. Trader of the Night is really good if you're looking for more like a management type of game. I really enjoyed Trader of the Night. Reciter is also really great. The Atelier series, Atelier, I said that wrong, is also excellent. And it's also very gay. If you're like me and you like gay things, you'll like the Atelier series a lot. You know what I want on this that I don't have right now? I'm gonna get a big ol' evil queen collar lady. Character design on the fly. It's a definite challenge to do, but it's turning out well. I love playing and writing villain-type characters. Villains are fun. They have more of a good time. They do more fun things. They end up just having this grandiosity to them that you don't get from hero type of characters. It's really fun to do designs for villain characters. I'm gonna leave the blood slightly abstracted because I'm actually liking how this looks right now. It's got a super limited color scheme, but that's working in its favor design-wise. And by just having the blood be lines, it lets you still interpret the piece fully. I also love them. A redemption arc is amazing. Honestly, 11 out of 10. A Zuko is a good move to pull. Also, a twist villain is usually fun. They're not fun if they're overused, but villains in general are great. I am partial to a redemption arc, though. I like the redemption arc. I also like instances like Death Note where your protagonist is the villain. Of course, you can't say Death Note without also thinking of Code Geass. God, I love Code Geass. If you haven't watched Code Geass, it's old, but watch Code Geass. Yep, yep. Emil is fun, but also Emil is a bad guy. That is a bad guy. That is a villain. That's okay. That's a part of what makes him great. Okay, this is ending up really cool. It's kind of trippy. It's kind of cyberpunk. It's very much so steampunk. I'm only doing these lines kind of in this area as red. Yup. You would be correct, to my memory at least. I could have just done Iris. It's literally the exact same. Now that I have the angel crown motif in it, it's got the same theming. We've made choices in this piece. Here's what we can do now. We can go in and add in our gold. Look at that. That is a character design. That's why I kind of went for that patina to undertone. I knew I could go in and do that at the end. Just stack a few layers of color dodge on it. Bring in the overlay, which we'll do in red to add to that more aggressive atmosphere of the piece. Stop doxing yourself! I have to private this. can go ahead and do the background, which I'm not going to do a complicated background this time. I'm just going to add in those shades of red and gold around our figure. Look at her, she turned out great. Thank you for the suggestion. And so now we adjust the yeah, I like it with the darkness increased a little bit. That looks really nice. Because it makes that saturated tones look so... That stands out. Okay, wow, that turned out better than I thought it would. Oh, alright. Well, we did 2 pieces today. My hands are shot. My family keeps on trying to dox themselves. I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll be back live again soon, probably tomorrow or sometime next week. But yeah, I'll hope to see you all again. Take care.